So, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel where we discuss all things Golf Wang and streetwear. And in today's video, as I'm sure you probably all already know, we have finally got a brand new Golf Wang season get announced for summer 2021. And I just wanted to quickly get on here and share my thoughts on the previews of all the new items for the upcoming season. Now, as you all know, just like pretty much everybody else, I would assume I was really anticipating a Golf le FLEUR season to get announced, because I talked about it a little bit in my last video where we actually went over a couple of the unreleased Golf le FLEUR pieces, and with Tyler rapping on the album about a Golf le FLEUR summer season and all this stuff, and with all the unreleased pieces getting worn by T and all the stuff that we saw in the music videos and everything like that, I can't lie, I was really hoping that we were going to see that Golf le FLEUR summer season happen this summer. But now with the Golf Wang drop, I don't know if that's going to be the case, and I'm pretty sure he even took to Twitter yesterday to say that le FLEUR was coming soon. So I think that's what we were all kind of getting excited for. So while I was still expecting a brand new Golf Wang drop, and I was still excited for a new Golf Wang drop, it definitely wasn't what I was expecting to get announced. So, you know, now especially that it has been confirmed by Tyler himself that we are getting Golf le FLEUR soon, that's still, you know, for the most part what I'm waiting for. But I really don't want to take any credit away from this Golf Wang season, because it actually came out with a pretty decent number of pieces that I like, and there's 2 or 3 pieces in here that I actually think I might consider picking up, although for the most part I am going to try to save up for le FLEUR. But I was still pretty pleasantly surprised, so let's go ahead and get straight into this video. Alright, so switching up the view here, we have the Golf Wang website pulled up with the summer 2021 preview, and as you can see, I have the lookbook pulled up here, and I don't want to dive too deep into the lookbook. I mainly want to focus on the preview for this video. The only reason I have the lookbook pulled up is there's 2 pieces in the lookbook that we don't actually see in the preview, and they're actually some of my favorite pieces from the season. So I just wanted to go over both of them really quickly before we move forward. The first one is the brown colorway of this like kind of biker jacket that has the little lasso logo that got introduced to us. I can't remember if it was winter 2020 or autumn 2020, but one of those seasons they introduced the lasso logo, and they've introduced it on a new piece. And this jacket, I actually like this jacket a lot. It's kind of in that same like biker style as the old golf jacket from the winter 2020 season, and that jacket was leather, but this one does not seem to be leather. It seems to be made out of some sort of cloth material. And if y'all did watch my video on the winter 2020 season, you know that I did enjoy the style and the colorways and everything of the golf biker jacket, but I'm not a huge fan of leather. But I'm really not a big fan of leather, but I actually really like this one. We'll get into the other 2 colorways here in just a second, but this brown and white colorway is easily my favorite colorway of the jacket, although the other 2 aren't really that bad. This one is definitely taking the cake for me, and I've really just kind of recently got into this kind of style of jacket, so I've got my eye on this one, and depending on the price, I may or may not pick it up. And the second piece that we see in the lookbook but not in the preview is probably like my favorite hoodie that Golf has released. Well, it hasn't been released yet. My favorite hoodie that Golf has made in a really long time, and it's actually the snakeskin Golf logo hoodie. We got 3 different colorways of this snakeskin print. We've got this pink one, and then there's a blue and a green one that we'll get into in here in just a second. But this is definitely my favorite colorway of all of them. I like literally love pink. I quit buying hoodies, you know, from all brands for a really long time, but I've kind of started getting back into them a little bit, and I really love this one, so I've definitely got my eye on this. Golf does these kind of things like a lot. Like they'll put pieces in the lookbook, or they'll have pieces like completely drop out of nowhere. So the preview doesn't necessarily entail everything that we'll see, you know, for the Golf Wang season. And there's been a lot of times in lookbooks where they, you know, have a piece and they shoot it in the lookbook, and then we like never see it, or we get it years later, just like a piece we'll get into in here in just a second. So I hope this does end up coming out. All right, but with all that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the preview itself, starting out with the other 2 colorways of the lasso jacket we just talked about a little bit ago. I don't think either of these 2 colorways are really bad at all, but I definitely think the brown and white fits like the style and design of the jacket a lot better than these colorways. So these colorways aren't bad, but if I were to pick this jacket up, which I'm definitely like considering, it would absolutely be the brown colorway of it. And another cool thing that I noticed about this jacket is on the actual tag itself, they have like a golf lasso tag on it instead of the regular yellow tags that we see on the rest of the pieces. So that's something actually really cool to see. It's a nice attention to detail. I'm glad that they did that, glad that they added it. And coming up next, we actually have a piece that, you know, just in case any of you guys don't know, this No Nukes jacket right here actually got announced. It was in the winter 18 preview video that Tyler did like 3 years ago, and I had like completely given up hope on this jacket releasing. It was one of my favorite pieces from the winter 18 video, and I'm really glad to see that we're finally getting this piece coming out. And I'm gonna say something that might be a little controversial. Now, it's definitely the same like design and style of jacket. There's just been like some slight tweaks to it. And me personally, although I definitely really enjoy the first jacket, I like this one more. The only thing is, in the actual lookbook, the design design looks like it pops a lot more, and I don't know if that's just like the coloring of the lookbook or whatever, but the color on the jacket like pops a lot more in the lookbook than it does here in the preview. It seems a little bit like, you know, flatter. So while I still like the piece either way, I'm really hoping, you know, that when people actually get the jacket in hand, that it looks a little bit more like this, because I think this looks a lot better. But once again, that's just kind of one of those things we'll have to wait and see until the jacket actually comes out. But still, either way, of course, a really big fan of that jacket. Definitely got my eyes on that one. And moving on here, we have a couple of sweaters. In this green sweater right here, I'm not really feeling as much. I'm not really loving the design of this one too much. I don't like the colorway that much either. Overall, just kind of not my style. But unlike this sweater, I love this one right here, the raspberry sweater. We've seen like a lot of raspberry designs. I believe it was around the spring, summer 2019 release when we saw a lot of the raspberry designs, like the button up and the t-shirts and things like that. I'm happy to see that they're still incorporating that into pieces, because I kind of thought that we were done seeing that. And I love the colorway of this sweater. I love the way it fits, by the way that it seemed in the preview, or in the lookbook, excuse me. But it's easily one of my favorite pieces from the season, and I absolutely 100% have my eyes on that one. In the beginning of the video, I said there was like 2 or 3 pieces that I was interested in picking up, and this sweater is absolutely one of them. And moving on from that, we have a couple of more vests from Golf. We've seen a ton of these vests released recently. I think we've seen some variation of this in the past like 4 seasons, I believe. I don't know if there was one in winter 2019 or not, but I know at least 3 out of the last 4 seasons that we've had, we've got some variation of this kind of like fisherman style vest. And while I do definitely like them, I think that they're doing them a little too much. But I will say that this is probably my favorite vest, you know, other than the LeFleur utility vest. They seem to be leather, so the quality on them is probably going to be pretty good. I actually like the green colorway of this one right here. And of course, you can never go wrong with like a nice white, kind of cream off-white colorway. They're definitely a solid piece. I wouldn't mind owning one, although I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to buy one. And then moving on from that, we finally have some more sweater vests from Golf. This is something that I've really been waiting for Golf to release for a while. I think the last sweater vest that we got from Golf was in summer 19, I believe. I think that was the last time we got a sweater vest from Golf. I really love this one. This is the one that we saw JT, Tyler's cousin, wearing in the Corso video. The colorway on this one isn't bad. This one just isn't really my style as much, so I don't love this one as much, although it's really not bad. This one's definitely my favorite of the two, so I don't personally think I'm gonna pick this sweater vest up. I definitely think it's really solid, and I'm happy to see that we're getting more sweater vests from Golf. And then moving on from that, we have a couple of long sleeve button-ups here, one in this green and pink colorway, and then one in this kind of navy blue and white colorway. And I actually really like both of them. I don't think either of the colorways are really bad, but I don't love this green and pink one as much as I really like this blue. And I don't know if I've worn it too much on the channel yet, but I do have this long sleeve button up that I wear all the time, and I love the colorway of this one, so I've definitely got my eye on this blue one right here. And then moving on from that, we have a couple of work shirts, one coming in this brown colorway and then coming in this pink colorway as well. Workwear has been a pretty big trend in streetwear just as a whole recently. We've seen Golf pretty recently release a couple of workwear pieces as well. It's definitely a trend that I'm here for. I love the workwear trend that's going on in fashion right now, and as you all know, I love brown, I love pink, so I do think both of these are actually pretty solid. Although I do like both of them, I would say my favorite one for sure is this brown colorway one right here. So although these shirts aren't like standout pieces to me for the season or anything, I definitely think they're nice. And moving on from that, we have a couple of polos. One of them we also saw in the lookbook, and I gotta say guys, I actually really like these polos. This is another big trend I've seen in streetwear recently, where we get some sort of piece and they're just like kind of patterns like on the piece in different colorways and stuff like that. I don't know what the brand is, but I've seen a lot of pieces from a certain brand that's been doing a lot of this stuff recently, and a lot of brands have been following suit. And I'm not saying that to insinuate that Golf is just like following a trend or anything like that. I'm saying it like completely as a compliment. I love these jackets, and I love that that's kind of becoming a trend in streetwear. I love the colorway of this brown kind of cream and green one right here. I've definitely got my eyes on that one. This one right here is definitely solid, but I found myself liking this one over here a lot more, and I've been wanting to dip my toe into that style a little bit for a long time. And I've also really been interested in picking up some new polos, so definitely got my eyes on those pieces. And moving on from that, we have this button up where it has this guy riding like a bull or something all over the button up, and this is definitely a really interesting piece, but I actually like it a lot. I love the light blue colorway a lot more than I love the mint green colorway, although the mint green colorway still isn't bad at all. Both of them are actually really cool, and although I don't think I'm going to be picking them up, I could definitely see myself wearing them. It's definitely a very interesting piece, very unique, but really interesting and unique pieces are what I come to Golf Wang for. And moving on from that, finishing out the cut and sews for the season, we have a couple of button ups that are kind of coming in this gradient gradient colorway with this golf logo down here on the bottom, which I think is the same logo that's on the polo up here. Now these button-ups are actually pretty solid. They're just personally not my style. Gradients are always something that a lot of people have loved, and I understand it, but it's never been something that's really like, I've personally gravitated towards. They're not bad. My favorite one is definitely this pink one over here. Like if I could see myself wearing either one of these pieces, this one would definitely be the one. But if that's something that interests you, I definitely think they went with pretty solid colorways on both of these. And I am a big fan of the design that they put on both of the button-ups as well. And moving on from that, we have a couple of pair of work pants here, one coming in this brown and white colorway and one coming in this kind of like off-white and pink colorway. This is another thing that we've seen golf doing a lot recently, kind of having some sort of pants with contrast stitching, which is something that I also really love. Like I said in my last video, I always think golf does really cool bottoms, and this kind of thing that they've been doing recently where they do some sort of work pants with this contrast stitching, I think is some of my favorite stuff that they've started doing. My favorite colorway, of course, is this brown and white one right here, because that just would fit so well into my style. And moving on from those, we have a couple of pair of jeans here. I can't quite make out what the logo is on the back pocket, but I think we get a closer look at that here in just a little bit on one of the graphics. But this is something we see from golf pretty much every single drop, some sort of jeans with a logo on the back pocket. There's definitely nothing like wrong with these pants at all. I think both colorways are solid, and I think having something as simple as the logo on the back pocket definitely is one of those subtle ways to add a lot to the jeans, which is kind of the same thing I said with the vest earlier. I just feel like personally we've seen this like way too often from golf recently, so it's nothing that really like excites me anymore. And moving on from that, we have some more cargo pants, which is once again something that we've seen golf do a lot of recently, and I really love the shade of brown that they went with on this pair of cargo pants. These shorts right here that we're going to get into in just a second come in the same exact shade. It's definitely a very unique shade of brown, and I could easily see myself working this colorway into my wardrobe. So although I don't think I'm going to pick up the cargo pants, I've definitely got my eyes on the shorts here, because those are really solid, and I've actually been in the market for a new pair of shorts for a while. I don't know what design is going to come on these cargo pants and on these shorts. Now I'm sure that there will be some sort of branding on these, I'm just not sure what. Once again, it'll probably be something on like the back pocket or something like that, or maybe up on the waistband. So I'm not sure what it will be, but I'm sure we'll get some sort of branding on this. We just can't see it yet. We'll have to wait until we get some more detailed pictures when the drop actually happens. But once again, colorways are solid. I also really like this light blue pair over here. And moving on from that, we have a couple of pair of camo shorts actually, which is something I was pretty surprised to see. I've never really been a fan of camo, unless it's one of those camos that like actually look like the woods. I don't know like exactly what it's called, but as far as like camo like this, where it's just kind of like a pattern, that has never really been anything that's interested me. However, the actual style of shorts that we have, I really like. It seems like they're a really nice build. I love the placement of the pockets, and if we go back here and look at the actual lookbook, they definitely have a pretty solid fit to them as well. Like I said, I'm just not a big fan of camo. It's honestly not my style, but I definitely love the way that they're built. And moving on from that, I believe we have some new corduroy shorts from golf. It seems like on the back pocket here, we have that same exact logo that we saw earlier on the button-up and the polos. We have them in two different colorways. We kind of have this off-white kind of colorway over here, and I can't tell if this is like a blue. I think this is some sort of blue colorway right here. And just in case any of you don't know, Golf released a pair of corduroy shorts in summer 19. They were the Golf Romeo shorts. They were a very similar style to this. They had the same exact placement of the logo and everything. They were a super popular pair of shorts. I actually have a pair that I copped back in 2019, and I love those. I've worn them so much that they're like faded and everything, and I think they just get better with time. And I'm personally happy to see that they're making more shorts in that style, and I love the logo that they've added to them, and I also love the updated colorways as well. So really excited to see that. And moving on from that, we have a couple pair of shorts coming in that snakeskin colorway we looked at on the hoodie just a little bit earlier. Once again, I absolutely love this pink colorway, and this light blue colorway down here is really nice as well. The dark green colorway is also really nice, but I don't like it as much as the pink and the blue. And printed shorts like this have never really been my style. Whenever I wear bottoms, I traditionally like to keep them pretty simple. I don't like to wear a lot of prints and stuff unless it's on like a console or like a top, and maybe even a hat on like a rare occasion. So while I definitely don't see myself picking the shorts up, the hoodie is something I definitely have my eye on. And moving on from that, getting into the graphics now. This first set of graphics right here, I don't even really know what to call this design. I'm really not feeling this one that much. I've already kind of taken a look at all the graphics that they did, and I think it just kind of stands like the same thing that I said before. It just seems to me like Golf is focusing more and more on consos, which is, fine for me because that's like what I want from Golf. That's where my style is going towards anyway. But for people who like graphics, it doesn't seem like they're paying as much attention to them anymore, which definitely sucks because I feel like Golf graphics used to have this kind kind of like charm to them, and I just don't feel like they have that anymore. So I do like the colorway of this first hoodie and this last hoodie right here, but I really don't like the graphic that much at all. I don't know, just not really feeling that one. You know, I do like this graphic on the button up a lot. I don't think I like it on the hoodie as much. I'm not a huge fan of this graphic either. This one isn't bad. It's just like nothing like really crazy. I love the colorway of this one. That brown and kind of tan over top of that pink looks amazing. So I do really like that one, and I like the colorway of this one as well. So this one right here I don't think is bad at all. It's just nothing really like, you know, crazy, like I said. And I also really like this one as well. I love the colorway of this one right here. Kind of like this goldish yellow. I do think I like this hoodie a lot, actually. Pretty much every colorway. I would say this is definitely my favorite graphic that they've done for this season as far as the hoodies go. I'm not really feeling this graphic that much either. I know that this graphic right here is really simple, but I do like the Think Golf graphic. I really like all the colorways they decided to go with in this crew neck. I really love this purple and gold one right here. And I think this green on top of the heather gray looks really nice as well. So I will say that my two favorite graphics from this season are the eyeball hoodie. That's just kind of what I'm calling it for now. And the Think Golf graphic. If I were to pick up any hoodies or crew necks, it would definitely be one of those. The rest of them just really aren't calling out to me that much. This graphic right here, I don't mind too much. It just doesn't feel like golf to me, if that makes sense. I mean, it's definitely cool. It's not really my style. This graphic right here seems to be that same font that I saw on the hoodie just a little bit earlier right here that I wasn't a huge fan of. I still don't really like that font that much, but I like this design a lot more with like the shoe and the gum on it. And I really like the colorway of this tan one here in the middle as well. I still don't really love that font, but I like the graphic a lot more with the gum shoe on it. I think that definitely would have looked really nice on the hoodie as well. I'm not sure why they decided to take that off on the hoodie, but yeah, I'm definitely liking this design a lot more on the tees than I do the hoodie. Once again, moving on from that, we have the Think Golf graphic on a couple of t-shirts and some pretty solid colorways as well. Pink and black is a really nice colorway. You can really never go wrong with that. Once again, a really simple graphic, but I do like that one. And then of course we have that eyeball graphic on a couple of t-shirts. My personal favorite is this cream one right here. Moving on from that, I'm not really sure what this graphic is, but I'm not really feeling this one too much either. But yeah, overall guys, I think the graphics are kind of a weak part of the season for me. I love the consos that they did. Like I really love the consos that they did for the season. And I think the bottoms overall are also really nice as well. I just don't think the graphics are really doing it for me anymore. But anyways, moving on from those, getting into the hats now. We have a couple of bucket hats here, which I actually really love. You all probably know already, I absolutely love bucket hats. I love dark green. I love dark brown. Really simple bucket hats, but I love them. I've definitely got my eye on this dark brown one right here. I don't know if I'm going to pick any up because the tan one that I have from Lacoste already goes with like literally everything that I would want to wear a bucket hat with to begin with. I do love both of these bucket hats, but my favorite hats that they've released this season are actually these bucket hats right here. Once again, it's kind of got that like same kind of like pattern to it that we looked at on the polos just a little bit ago. I think this bucket hat right here would have looked really cool if instead of white they had kind of like a tan or an off-white on this one right here with the brown and the mint. I think that would have looked really nice, although the white, of course, you know, white goes with everything. You can never go wrong. But I think both of those are actually really cool. I've definitely got my eyes on those. Moving on from that, they've thrown the eye design on a couple of hats. I would say my favorite out of the bunch is definitely this white one right here. I'm not loving this graphic on the hats too much. I think it definitely fits the t-shirts and hoodies a lot better, but you know, it doesn't really look bad. And moving on from that, we have this raspberry design on a couple of the hats, and I love these hats as well. My favorite one from this bunch is actually the black one. I've got my eyes on this one actually because I love that design, and I don't actually have any like nice black hats to wear, and I think this hat would fit in my wardrobe really nicely. It definitely fits my style, and this is probably my favorite graphic that we have from this season. I wish they would have put it on like a couple more pieces, like maybe some hoodies and some t-shirts. I think this design would also look really nice on those, or maybe embroidered on like a little crew neck or like a pocket tee or something like that. I really love that graphic. I think it looks great on the hats, and the hats look like they have a really nice fit as well. Moving on from that, we have that graphic that I wasn't a huge fan of on a couple of hats, and nothing's really changing for me on that one. I don't really like that graphic too much. Up next, we have the Think Golf design on a couple more hats coming in this brown colorway, this blue colorway, and this white and black colorway. I do like all these hats as well. My favorite, of course, is this brown one right here. I don't think I'm going to pick that up because I still have hope for the brown G hat and the brown F hat. I'm really wanting to pick up one of those, so I definitely think I'm going to pass, but I think all three of these hats are really solid as well. Up next, we have these truckers with that one design that I wasn't a huge fan of on the hoodies and t-shirts, but I don't mind it as much on the truckers, I don't think. I really like this cream one right here. I would say that's definitely my favorite out of the bunch. I absolutely love truckers. I even made my own truckers, link down in the bio below if you want to check those out. Shameless plug. Really love trucker hats. I think this design fits a lot better on the truckers. And moving on from that, we have a couple of camp hats in that snakeskin colorway as well. I don't think any of these hats are bad, but I would say for my style personally, they're a little too loud for anything that I would wear. The camp hats are just one of those classic golf pieces that you can never go wrong with. I think they pretty consistently put out really, really good G hats and camp hats, and I think that these are definitely solid. Like I said, just a little loud for me in my personal. Then moving on from that, we have a couple of beanies here that I actually really, really like. I don't mind this design at all. I really, really love this pink and brown colorway right here. Beanies just like overall aren't really my style. I have like one beanie that I wear sometimes, but usually I don't really rock beanies like that. So all these are solid. They're just nothing really crazy to me. Moving on from that, getting into the socks, I really love the colorway on all of these Think golf socks that they have right here. But my favorite is of course this pack of raspberry socks that we have right here. Oh, it seems like we actually have two. We have like just the graphic, and then we kind of have the graphic with the golf design on kind of a three-tone sock. Both of those are really cool, but I would personally go for the pack of three because nobody's really going to see the bottom half of your foot like anyway because you're going to be wearing shoes. So you get pretty much that same exact colorway in the pack of three, plus you also get a pair of white socks, and I wear white socks like religiously, so I would personally go with the pack of three on that one. I'm not really feeling the colorways of this pack of socks too much. I do like the pink one, of course, but I don't really like the gray or mint green colorways on those socks really. And then moving on from that, we kind of have that same design that was on the sweater vest we looked at earlier on a couple of pairs of socks, and I do like both of these. I don't think these would really fit into my wardrobe too much. Once again, I'm loving this green and navy blue colorway the most out of the two of those. And then moving on from that, we have a couple of dog collars here and a couple of leashes in that gradient colorway, and I do like the gradient colorway a lot more on these. You know, I personally don't, I do have a dog, but I'm not trying to buy my dog like a golf leash or anything just because it's like so much more expensive than a regular leash. But they are actually really, really cool. I would say my favorite accessory here is actually this laptop sleeve. I think that's a laptop sleeve. That's actually something that I really, really need to get my hands on because, I've been in college for 2 years, but I carry my laptop with me like everywhere I go, and I just kind of have it like sitting in my bag, which is an awful idea. It's so dangerous. So I could benefit from having a laptop sleeve, and I do like both of these laptop sleeves a lot. So I got my eye on that one. I'm liking the pink one a lot more. Then we have the gradient colorway on a couple of card holders, which is once again really, really cool. Definitely a solid colorway. And I've actually heard that golf card holders are pretty good quality. So if you're interested, I just don't personally use card holders too much, so I have no need for them. But if you're interested, I would say go for it. And then we have a couple of keychains right here that I actually think is really, really nice. I love this cream one right here, and I love the little font that they have on it. I've actually been in need for a new keychain, so this is definitely a possibility for me picking this up. I can't tell if they're like leather or metal, but they seem to be pretty good quality either way. Definitely got my eyes on those, whatever they may end up being. And then finishing it out, we have a book bag that I'm not too huge of a fan of. I do use a book bag all the time because, like I said, I'm in college. I like to travel a lot, so I use a book bag pretty religiously. And I do already have a golf book bag that I got from the 2019 VIP package. I don't really like these style of backpacks very much. When I wear backpacks, I like to keep them really, really, really simple. And I'm not really feeling that colorway too much on the backpack either. I think it's a little too loud for me. And honestly, I usually just get like JanSport backpacks or something like that. The only reason I even have that golf one is once again because it came in the VIP package. 9 times out of 10, if I'm buying a book bag, I don't really care what brand it is. I just kind of like need to carry like my books, my laptop, my clothes, whatever it may be. But honestly, guys, my thoughts on the overall season, I do think it's pretty good. Once again, the thing that stands out to me the most is the cut and sew pieces. I really, really love those. I also think they did a good job on the bottoms and the hats as well. I think the only really weak point of the season for me is the graphics, which once again doesn't affect me that much because I don't really wear that many graphic t-shirts to begin with anyway. But honestly, guys, either way, I do think we got a pretty decent season. Comment below and let me know your thoughts on this season. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere in the middle? As always, if you like this kind of content and you would like to see more, definitely like this video and subscribe to the channel. I have a ton of golf and streetwear content coming moving forward. That'll do for this video, guys. Thanks so much for checking this out. I'll see you in the next one.